Okay guys, so in this video, I'm actually going to split it into 3 parts, and there's a reason why. I don't want to bore you. It's going to be a bit like a maths lesson, but it's a really important lesson to help you work out your calories to hit your goals. So, I'm not going to go into it too much. I'm going to say we're going to look at my calorie requirements for my physique at this moment in time. Feel free to grab a calculator and work out yours along the way, but I'm going to simplify this as much as possible. I never liked maths at school, but you know, once you get your head around this, it's going to be really beneficial for you working out what your calorie requirements are and then what you need to do from there to hit your calorie goals. So when it comes to, you know, calories, finding out what you need to intake each day, you can go onto Google and you can find an online calculator, and it's pretty easy to kind of put your information in and get a result to kind of work from. These aren't always accurate though, so I prefer to use this because of the years it works well for me and it works well for my clients too. It's the Harris-Benedict equation. There's a number of other different equations you can use, but this one, like I say, is one that really works well for me. So let's get into it. Look at this, we've got maths already now. It's going to be crazy, but stay with me with this. So start off with your BMR. Some of you will know as your basal metabolic rate. It's the calories that your body needs to maintain all its essential functions without moving. So, you know, let's just say if you was to be in a coma, you ain't going to be in a coma because you're in a members hub, right? So you're going to know all the essential information to keep a healthy lifestyle. But if you was in a coma, your body still burns calories even when you're not moving, not functioning. Your organs still have to function to keep you alive, okay? So it's a very important number to understand, and I'll show you why in a second. You can work this out for the guys to follow this bit, and women can follow this bit here. But I'm going to go through everything as well, just so we're all on board. So your BMR equals this number, 88.362. We're going to plus it by the sum of 13.397 times by your weight in kilograms, okay? Then we're going to plus that by the sum of 4.799 times your height in centimeters. Then I'm going to take it away by the sum of 5.677 times by your age in years, okay? So feel free to do that now. We're going to go through mine in the next slide after this. For women, your equation is 447.593 plus the sum of 9.247 times by your weight in kilograms, and you want to plus that by the sum of 3.098 times by your height in centimeters. We're then going to subtract by the sum of 4.330 times by your age in years, okay? Some of you might have worked that out already, but don't worry if you haven't, just stay with me, we'll get through this together. So this is working out my BMR essentially, okay? So it's the same equation, I'm just filling in my gaps here. So we've got the weight, the height, the age. So my current weight is 94 kilograms upon waking in the morning. And we find out the sum of these two together, plus it by my height, 180 centimeters, you know, the sum of this. Then my age, I'm currently 29 at the time of recording this. I am 30 on the 27th of August, 2022. So feel free to grab me a present, that's fine, I'm just dropping that there. But yeah, so we've got these numbers here, okay? And essentially that is going to be my BMR from the sum of all this. So 2,046 calories is what my body actually burns through to stay alive, okay? So it's quite a lot to be fair, but this is because, you know, of my age, my height, my weight. But, you know, I've been training for a long period of time, so I've accumulated a whole lot of muscle tissue which transcends onto my current weight as well, okay? So my body potentially actually needs to burn a little bit more than this because it doesn't take into account muscle too. But we won't go into that. That's just as a good guidance at the minute, okay? So remember this number, guys, remember this number. So the next stage is to work out your TDEE, which is your total daily energy expenditure, okay? So this is based on the properties of your lifestyle, how much you are moving on a day-to-day basis, if you are sat at an office desk, or if you have an active job, if you get a lot of steps in. It depends on your lifestyle. So be very honest with how you find out your activity multiplier, which we'll go off in a second. And then you find out a decent estimate of where you should be, okay? So your TDEE is determined by 4 key factors. So your BMR, the thermic effect of food, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, so you may know this as NEAT, and then also the thermic effect of activity, which is through exercise, okay? So if you haven't seen, there's an article as well in the Nutrition Article Hub, which is why NEAT is key for the success of your weight loss, okay? So feel free to have a look at that one. That's going to tell you all about this, okay? So I don't really want to touch on this too much, but the article will give you all the information there. So on to the next stage now, which is the activity multiplier. To calculate your approximate total daily energy expenditure, simply multiply these activity factors by your BMR. So, find out if you are sedentary, little to no exercise, you work at a desk job, times that number, so my number would be 2046, times by 1.2, okay? And then after that, if I was to be lightly active, I would times by 1.375. Moderately active, it would be 1.55. From here, I would say I'm around here. So heavy exercise, 6 to 7 days a week, I'm timesing my number by 1.725. Potentially, but at the time of actually recording this, I'm going to be honest with you, I've probably gone to about here, to be honest with you, as I've been preparing this whole members hub for you. But normally I like to be here. If I'm extremely active, sometimes twice a day training, times it by 1.9. But just as a indicator for you guys, here we go, I'm going to times mine by 1.55. So we'll just use moderately active as just an example. Okay, so 2,046 calories for my BMR, times by the activity multiplier, 1.55, that would equal my maintenance number. So this is the next key number now. So 3,171 is the calories I need to stay at the same weight, okay? So if you've done your calculation, let us know what you've got from there. But like I say, it's important to stress that this number isn't an exact, but your number should at least, give you a rough idea of where to start when figuring out a meal plan and setting out macronutrient goals, which we'll cover in the next part as well. So like I say, check out part 2, where we'll use your total daily energy expenditure to calculate your calories for fat loss. So I'll see you in part 2.